We're discovering things about our universe all the time, and lots of these discoveries are good. These next 5 though, they wouldn't be ideal. Number 5 on this list is a lifelike simulation. Neil deGrasse Tyson, one of the most famous astrophysicists of our generation, talks extensively about the idea of a lifelike simulation on his own YouTube channel, Star Talk, and I highly recommend checking that out for a more in-depth analysis. Now in that video he argues that we may already be in a simulation and we just don't know it yet. If we assume that our human innovation in regards to virtual reality and video games continues to advance at the rate that it is, then it isn't unrealistic to think one day humans will make a simulation that is so true to life we won't be able to tell the difference. If that's the case and we start the simulation of human life in the future, then eventually the simulation of said human life that we created will get to a place where they also have the ability to make their own simulation. Then they will start their own simulation and the chain will continue going on and on. Effectively meaning that you will have one world that is real and billions of other worlds that are simulations of that initial first world. Now think about that. There's one real world and there are billions of other worlds that are all simulations. Statistically speaking, we are most likely going to be one of the billion simulations than the initial real world. However, lucky for us, that's not the case yet. Because we've yet to discover the technology capable of making a lifelike simulation so true to life one wouldn't be able to tell the difference, our odds of being a simulation are 50-50. Since we've yet to discover the technology required to build this simulation, it means that we are either the first world, which is the real world, or we're the last world that got simulated and have yet to advance ourselves far enough to make the next simulation in the chain. It's impossible for us to be any other worlds in the middle, because if we were, then we would already have the technology to simulate the next world. So, as of right now, we have a 50% chance of being a simulation. But that number will drop like a stone when we discover the technology to make a new world and then simulate it. Once we've simulated a whole new world, then we're just as likely to be one of the billions of worlds in the chain of simulations. Therefore, if we ever discover this technology, our world is effectively over. Now, the world isn't going to explode or end. We will continue living our lives, but everything we do might lose all meaning. Simulating another world distances our world from being real and makes it very likely that we could be a bunch of ones and zeros. For now though, we can rest easy because we still have a 50% chance of being real. Number 4 on this list is the collapsing vacuum. This theory of a potential vacuum collapse is very confusing, so I'm going to quote an article from the magazine Discover. Corey S. Powell and Diane Martindale write, "Very early in the history of the universe, according to a leading cosmological model, empty space was full of energy. This state of affairs, called a false vacuum, was highly precarious. A new, more stable kind of vacuum appeared, and like Ice 9, it quickly took over. This transition unleashed a tremendous amount of energy and caused a brief runaway expansion of the cosmos." So to simplify that a little bit, basically the universe was in one state and then it suddenly adjusted to a more stable state. That's the current universe that we live in today, but if we were to discover that there was another more stable vacuum that's more fitting for the universe, then our days would very quickly become numbered. If there is a more stable kind of vacuum, then that would inevitably expand all over the universe, and the laws of physics that currently govern said universe, they would all shift. Life would be over and our planet would most likely cease to exist. This could happen at any time as the universe continues to cool and expand from the initial Big Bang that occurred so many years ago. So if we ever figure out that there is a more stable state of the universe, then the universe as we know it might be over pretty quickly. Number 3 on this list is a solar flare. Solar flares are eruptions of electromagnetic radiation that happens in the atmosphere of a star. Typically, these solar flares are not large enough to cause any problems to us on Earth, but there's always the possibility that they could. 2 Harvard University researchers have punched the numbers and believe that a super solar flare is likely to hit the Earth in the next 100 years. Now, we have to hope this discovery is proven false or else we're in big trouble. Back in 1859, we actually got hit with a super solar flare, and across the world, telegraph machines stopped working. Loeb, one of the researchers, says a flare like that today could shut down all the power grids, all the computers, all the cooling systems on nuclear reactors. A lot of things could go bad. And he's definitely right with that last statement. A lot of things would get really bad. We're so reliant on technology that if we ever got hit with one of these super solar flares, the world would almost be sent into the dark ages for a little while. It's actually kind of hard to imagine exactly how bad things would get if all of our technology stopped working. Fingers crossed these guys punched the numbers wrong and we're safe for a while from a super solar flare. Number 2 on this list is the Large Hadron Collider. Over 10,000 scientists from over 100 different countries collaborated when this massive particle colliding science project was being built from 1998 to 2008. Basically, 2 energy beams travel at almost the speed of light in this accelerator before they collide into each other and cause a reaction. The whole point of this project is to learn about our universe. By colliding these particles together, we gain important information about mass, energy, dark matter, and even antimatter. The problem is that there's some risks involved with this experiment. Many scientists have warned about the potential consequences associated with smacking 2 particles together at high speeds. In fact, the experiments conducted in this Hadron Collider could end the entire world. Several scenarios have been talked about with this collider which would be extremely problematic. Some believe that it's possible for this collision to unleash strange matter into the universe. If strange matter, and that's actually what they call it, strange matter, is released into the universe, then the Earth could very quickly shrink to a ball only 300 feet across, and we'd obviously all die. Others think that a miniature black hole could appear from this collider and it would slowly grow and grow until the universe is completely devoured. Space decaying or falling apart, that's never a good thing, and if we ever discover this to be true, there's not going to be anything we can do to stop it. Number 1 on this list is an asteroid impact. In 1908, a comet exploded into a part of Siberia in Russia and caused a massive explosion. The explosion was more powerful than an atomic bomb and shocked the world when it happened. Now, an event like this is sadly something that we just can't avoid, and we're not going to be able to stop it from happening if we're unlucky enough to be on a comet's trajectory. The asteroid in the 1908 event was only 200 feet wide, and it actually never hit the Earth but disintegrated at an altitude of roughly 5 kilometers above the planet. Even though a physical object never hit the planet, it still created a 12 megatron explosion that flattened roughly 80 million trees. Now just imagine if they discovered an asteroid that was bigger than this coming to Earth. The current working theory is that an asteroid that's 96 kilometers wide would completely destroy the planet if it was to collide with us. However, it doesn't need to be this big to do some serious damage. If an asteroid 1 kilometer wide hit the planet, then it would likely smash into us at around 48,000 kilometers per hour and would create a 1 million megatron explosion. This might not destroy all life on the planet, but it would be pretty freaking close. The 1908 asteroid that hit was the largest explosion the world has ever seen. We just need to pray that experts don't discover a bigger one on the way. Well, there you have it, guys. That is our list of the top 5 terrifying discoveries that could end the world. Please let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this list, and also some other scary discoveries that you think are threatening to our way of life. I've been your host, Nicholas Playlog. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time.